Teofimo Lopez, was it a robbery in his fight against Jermaine Ortiz? Man, I don't know. This one was tricky for me. I'm not gonna lie, because if you guys watched the telecast, you saw Tim Bradley, Mark Kriegel, you saw all these guys talking about the fight, and it was interesting. I had a bit of shared opinions with both of these guys. They argued, they disagreed on what was actually going on inside the ring, because Teofimo Lopez, if you guys look at it, Timothy Bradley, obviously, potential Hall of Famer. I think he is in the Hall of Fame. I don't even know. But he's a legend. Is he a legend? I just heard myself say that. Is Tim Bradley a legend? Let me know in the comments. I don't even know. That might have been a little bit too much. But Tim Bradley, obviously well-decorated fighter. He's had a great career himself. Obviously giving Manny Pacquiao a loss, a controversial one, but still, many fights in his welterweight reign. But he said that Teofimo Lopez, doesn't know how to cut off the ring. Jermaine Ortiz boxed beautifully. And then Mark Kriegel was like, did he though? Like, did he really do anything really effective? He was slipping punches and getting out of the way, moving around very well, pivoting, giving angles. But at the same time, you need to, the sport of boxing, the criteria, ring generalship, you have clean and effective punches, slipping punches, your defense, like that's all comes into play. But let's also remember effective punching, effective and clean punches. He was, evading shots. I'll give Jermaine Ortiz that, but also the whole reason I have an issue with them calling it a robbery is because I didn't see a lot of clean punches coming from Ortiz himself. Don't get me wrong, he made Teo look silly, make him miss with wild shots. And I'm not saying Teofimo fought a great fight or a good fight. That wasn't a good Teofimo we've seen against Ortiz, but still, I would give some credit to him for being the aggressor, because realistically, if I was Teofimo Lopez, he was coming forward. But if I was fighting Ortiz, I would have just stayed right in the middle of that ring and just said, like, let's go, because at the end of the day, I had to see a little bit more. There's a difference between counter punching, stick and move, and I didn't see that from Ortiz. I didn't see if you compare the connect percentage, it was like what, 15 to 15%, and they both had 15%. So, and then you have to factor in account for the fact that Teo was the aggressor. I know he wasn't very effective, but at the same time, do you give credit to Ortiz for being an effective at evading the shots? Like, that looks good. It looked good. The angles, I saw it. Like, don't get me wrong, I saw it with my own eyes, but it's not to that point where it was Shakur, to that point where it's Floyd, where it's being effective as well. He had his moments. He caught Teo with some clean left hands, but at the same time, I just didn't see enough to be like, man, I really feel for Ortiz. Like, he had a great game plan. I just thought that in terms of clean and effective punching, there wasn't enough to the point where I like really feel for him. I also think that he was a little conservative himself. He made Teo miss a lot when there were shots for him to capitalize on and take advantage of, but he didn't do it. And maybe he tried, but at the same time, it's a little bit iffy for me. This one, everyone's calling it a robbery, and I'm not saying that Ortiz shouldn't have won the fight. I'm just saying that the fact that Teofimo was the aggressor really messed it up for me, and the fact that neither of them really had an outstanding percentage in terms of landing clean and effective shots. That's what really gets me, a little bit tripped up over, how to score. It was like 117, 111. That was crazy. But I'm more, 115, 113 either way. Really, I wasn't mad at it, to be honest. You see how like people were saying, boxing's corrupt, boxing's this and that, but people aren't still talking about it because people deep down, they know that, there's also effective counter punching. There's something to the effect of you're slipping shots, but then you're landing your own clean shots, and I just didn't see enough of that from Ortiz to really comfortably say that he got robbed, boxing's corrupt. Sorry, there's a truck passing by, but I just think that Teofimo did what it took in order to show that he was being the aggressor. And there are a lot of things that I thought Teofimo could have done better in terms of, using his jab, really just throwing it out there. Like, the judges are going to take account of that. I know he won the fight. I just think that there were so many opportunities for him. I do believe that he had a hard time cutting off the ring, but Ortiz was really just like, he had no interest in committing, which he shouldn't, because realistically, if he came to fight, if he wanted to really engage a lot, he would have gotten caught with something from Teofimo. And Teofimo, I think, landed his own good shots. They were very few and far in between, but so were Ortiz's. So that's why it's a little bit complex for me. That's why I have a difficult time calling this fight a robbery, because no one really did anything too outstanding that would say, hey, remember when he did this in that round? It was a lot of swing rounds, a lot of close rounds to score. So 117 to 111 was crazy. I was more on the 113 to 115 wave for scoring that fight. But Teofimo, you know, respect to him. I do think that, you know, that he won that fight mainly because, like, I thought it should have been a split decision, but it was unanimous. But I think it should have been a split like in terms of, you know, Ortiz did his thing, you know, Teofimo kind of did his thing, but at the same time I think they want to make those big fights happen. Like, they can't afford for Teofimo to lose that fight against Ortiz, who's technically, let's be real, he's a great fighter. You know, the boxing world knows he's a great fighter, but on a broader scale, a bigger scale, he's a no-name, and people, you know, can't fathom the fact that Teo would lose to a guy like that, because it messes up fights, like potential fights for Teofimo, like fights with Tank, fights with Devin, fights with Ryan Garcia. Those are such big fights that I think, like, behind the scenes, they know that they can't afford to lose those fights. Those are very lucrative, big money fights. So I think that maybe there's some, you know, corruption in the sport of boxing there, but, like, hey, you know, I still want to see Teo in there with the best. His style is still exciting. It just wasn't a good matchup for him, in my opinion. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys think Teofimo versus Jermaine Ortiz was a robbery? Let me know in the comments why or why not. What did you disagree with me with in terms of, you know, how I scored it, how I saw the fight? Because, you know, I'm always curious to see your guys' perspectives. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. That's going to do it for another NASFight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.